Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Jitsi Community Call. Let's start with some updates. So has a particularly exciting one. So do you want to talk about what's currently being tested on test flight?
Yep, happy to comment on that. So last Friday, pretty late, managed to get a build in, and we now have screen sharing on iOS. This is right now in beta 21.0.0, and we're gonna work on seeing results, and if everything goes well, it should go stable in a few weeks. We also released mobile SDKs. We have been doing like a weekly release, I think, for the past maybe month or so. Change notes are up to date. It's mostly adding extra functionality that can be disabled, and now we have APIs that allow you to, that are a bit more similar to the iframe APIs that allow you to control a little bit on what the meeting is doing. You can right now mute the meeting, for instance, unmute. New events for participants joined and left, things like that. We have started to add this functionality to the SDK, so expect a more frequent release cadence with more of these. And that's all mobile. Thanks, Emil. Over to you.
Thank you very much. So we're also continuing our work on making Jitsi Meet conferences more compatible with a large crowd. There's a bunch of people involved in that effort. Maybe we could start with the front end. Jay, would you like to talk a little bit about the work that you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So I was working on the library changes. So most of it has been around switching the library to use the new bandwidth allocation strategy that the bridge uses. So I think Risto will have more updates about the front-end changes. Risto?
So basically part of this is the rectification of the film strip. So we now have a PR with the final stage from the rectification of the film strip, which is in review. So hopefully soon this is gonna be merged. And yeah, basically that's it from now for now. And my next tasks are gonna be more focused on how to change the UI to accommodate more people there and to be more useful for the user. But yeah, that's kind of all from me for now.
Thank you, Risto and Jaya. Okay, there's a bunch of work happening on the back end as well. Maybe Damien, if you want to start, and then anyone from the bridge team would like to add anything.
I think there is nobody from the bridge team, so I'll try to cover those. But in general, we're trying to offload the prosody as much as we can, because in big meetings there are a lot of communication going on between the clients. This is one of the focus, and while running those tests and simulating such big calls, the bridge team found few issues like hot points in the bridge, and we're fixing slowly one by one. So yeah, we're working on CPU usage on the signaling node and on the JVB side in such scenarios. That's it.
Thank you very much, Damien. Would anyone else like to add anything?
I have an update about the browser support. We recently, just now, we added support for the WebKit WebView based browsers on iOS. So Chrome and Firefox will be supported on iOS starting iOS 14.3 version. So this just got merged into master, should be available in the next release of Meet Jitsi.
Thank you very much, Jaya. Okay, let's open the mic. Any questions from the community?
Yes, I have a question. Hello?
Go for it.
I'm not sure you're hearing me.
We are hearing you.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Hamza, and I work for Apitech, a French company that mainly works for the French Ministry of Ecology and many other public administrations in France. I don't know if you heard of the official Jitsi platform of the French administration. It's called WebConf.
I haven't.
And so actually, the French administration would like to contribute to your project by making it 100% compatible with accessibility standards. So I'm just looking for advice. Do you have any advice on how to contribute to and make sure our work is going to be accepted by your team and for the next stable version?
Do you have any specific changes in mind already, or is it more of a generic question?
No, it's because we had some tests going on, and we found out that Jitsi is not compatible with, for example, screen readers for disabled people, and we have some developers who want to develop this model to make it compatible with, to make it 100% compatible with all the screen readers, and I want to make sure if you have already begun the work on this particular part, or is it in your roadmap?
So we are absolutely open to contributions on that topic. In fact, Sue recently did a bunch of improvements in that area on mobile. I think the right way to go about this would be for you to start by summarizing the list of features, not features, but the list of things that are missing for that you consider important. And then you can come back here with that list, or you can open a thread on community, or both, and we can discuss how you can go about implementing them. And then once you're ready, we'll assist with reviewing the PRs and helping you get your stuff in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
And if you have patches, like I would recommend that, because this thing can, like when I went to that rabbit hole, it was very deep. So I would recommend try to keep the things small. So maybe fix the one
actually,
thing,
before we even
keep the
get
other
to
thing.
the patches, I would say we should have a conversation about what are the things that are missing. How do we think they should be supported by Jitsi? Because that's one of the places where some patches went to die, essentially. They come implemented in a specific way that conflicts with some other Jitsi behavior. We send back the feedback. People do nothing about it other than just get angry and go complain on Twitter. And that doesn't lead anywhere. So once you have identified the things that are missing, the proper next step would be to then discuss here. We could start here, and then if it becomes too time consuming, we could carve out a dedicated meeting for that. And we agree on what approaches would fit in the current project, and we take it from there.
All right. All
And
right.
opening the discussion is one more thing, because I know that there are other people working on that also. So
Yeah,
you can
because
see
I
this.
saw on your GitHub some people talking about it, but I'm not sure it's and I'm not sure they had done anything about it. You see what I mean? Um, so I'm gonna talk to my team and come back to you with more information.
Yeah. Again, I think it would be good if we can before you come back here with the list of things that are missing, you could certainly mention it on community
Sure.
jitsi.org so that
Yes.
anyone interested can come here again and then we can talk about it.
Okay. Thank you. I also have a second question. Well, actually, I have three questions.
No, you only get two. I'm joking.
Well,
Go for it.
too bad. So my second question is about Jibri. I just want to know if you have any news about connecting Jitsi to other SIP platforms like Cisco or Polycom.
Yeah, that is actually functionality supported by the current Jibri. As part of the 8x8 product, we were maintaining an alpha version of that, and we're currently taking it to production. None of the work really that it takes to take it to production is actually compatible with. It's not necessarily something that fits the Jitsi project because it's very provider specific. You know what I mean? It's things around. Well, we use Vox Implant as a SIP provider for these things. So there's a lot of Vox Implant specific code. We use Oracle and Amazon as our cloud provider, so there's a lot of Amazon and Oracle specific code. So so I'm afraid there's not much more that can be done generically about Jibri, because you have to. The missing pieces are essentially how do you scale it, how do you maintain it in life, and how do you connect it to a SIP framework, and all of those are fairly specific to your deployment needs. What you could do though is, if that's of interest, we could potentially look into providing you that functionality through Jitsi as a service if that's of interest. I'm just mentioning.
So it is possible if I use a Jitsi as a service.
Not currently, but we could make it work.
Okay.
Just ping me at mchu@jitsi.org and we can have a discussion about it.
All right. Because we have many what we call VIP users, and they want to use.
Yes, the users that someone bought some expensive equipment from, and no one wants to tell them that it was a waste of money.
Exactly.
And we understand that we have to live with the same things. So so that's why it's there. Well, there's actually some regulatory requirements to make this work as well. But yeah, just ping me, send me a message, and we can talk about this.
Yeah, sure. All right. And my last question is about the partners page on your website, because I saw there's a partners page on jitsi.org. And I want to know if you have any idea about the requirements to become a Jitsi partner.
It has to be a fairly significant deployment of Jitsi, such that it is, recognizable to at least some people. So, you know what? Why don't you just add the details of that to your email, and then we'll discuss that topic as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Well,
so
that's
maybe just
to
give everyone some background here. The point of the partners page is to essentially, when you come to Jitsi and you're wondering, well, okay, I see what you folks have here. I'm kind of wondering if that would work for me though, and because I am such and such sort of company, or I have such and such use case as an application. So the partners page kind of tries to illustrate that, it works for these companies or for these deployments or for these things. And if you're in similar situation to any one of them, then chances are it will work for you as well. And that's the prism that we look through it. So certainly, what you're describing sounds like it could be a good use case, right? Because there's plenty of people, plenty of governmental structures around the world that have similar concerns. So it is helpful for people to know, here's one government that managed part of its video functionality. So I think it could be interesting. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we have done for the French government or the French administration for this platform. We have about 5 million users, not daily
users. Is that
users.
monthly active or?
No,
or is it just total pool of potential users?
We have about 5,000 users, unique users a day.
Got it.
Yeah, and we use so it's hosted by the French Ministry of Ecology. We have our own data center, and we use Octo.
I hope it runs on solar.
Sorry.
I was saying, I hope it runs on solar if it's the Ministry of Ecology.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to.
I sense there's some don't ask, don't tell part of the, the Ministry of Ecology is powering its stuff with nuclear energy. Oh my God. Okay, I should stop trolling.
And we use Octo also for internal and external use. I know on your platform you use it for geographical cascading or geographical filtering, but in our use case,
no, actually we don't. We use it specifically for large conferences. Large conferences alone. We used to have it for geographical interconnections, but from when we looked into the details, it turned out that it wasn't actually helping with regard to the RTTs. Boris is not here. Well, so it was actually increasing in, I would say, all of our regions but one. Using Octa was actually increasing the median RTT. So we stopped using it that way. We still use it for large conferences, but that's intra-region.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for the discussion. Yeah, ping me about the
yeah, sure.
Partner stuff and the other thing.
All right.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, and we can see a beautiful diagram.
Perfect. Yeah, as introduced, we are 4 students from the Techno University of Delft, as we've introduced 2 weeks ago. And we're also contributing to the project on this moment. But one part of the course is to make a technical overview and a following report. And we were wondering if this technical overview which we've made is correct at the moment. So yeah, if you can give us some feedback, that would be great.
It doesn't look bad.
Isn't Jitsi a web browser as well?
What is that, sorry?
Isn't Jitsi a web browser as well? So you could put that together somehow.
Yeah, you could draw a line from Jitsi to the web server as well.
I would my recommendation here is to keep in mind the fact that this is supposed to be primarily educational and only then completely accurate. So my opinion would be that you could indicate that Jitsi is a browser, but Jitsi is very much an infrastructure component. So I suppose you don't want to put it on the client side and confuse people. And I was going to say you probably do want to draw a line between you have all the client side components on the left, so you probably want to indicate that these are the users. You probably want to also indicate what's happening with the output of Jitsi and point out that it's either sending files somewhere or sending a stream to some platform, like YouTube. But also,
it also does XMPP connections.
Oh, good point. Good point. So, yes.
Sorry,
right.
by the way.
I'll forgive you. And otherwise, it looks. It doesn't look bad. you should get the names right. Jitsi Video Bridge is spelled without a dash and a capital V.
Okay.
Maybe just get rid of the dashes everywhere.
Yeah.
This looks right. Yeah, this looks right.
All right, perfect. And this is the overview with streaming and remote calls. So yeah, the blue parts are the same as in the previous image.
I wonder why here you decided to move the SIP server together with the client components. Do you have a reason for that, or was it just?
Well, we thought the SIP server might not be the actual Jitsi component core, so that's why we removed it from the blue part, because it's like a third party, right?
You're right, but again, the point here is, what impression do you want to give with the diagram? What's on the left and what's on the right? So if you're saying, look, all the stuff on the left is my responsibility, and all the stuff on the right is Jitsi's responsibility, and maybe, although, I mean, Jitsi is also your responsibility if you're deploying it.
Yeah.
I was thinking that your goal was to say all the stuff on the right is actually the user and everything else is infrastructure. And there's probably some, there's probably some value in indicating that, these are things that come from Jitsi and these are things that don't come from Jitsi. I agree with that. So I don't think that's a big deal. I'm just nitpicking, I suppose. You guys have done a good job. It looks accurate. That Outlook stuff, I'm not sure I get that part.
Yeah, we've read somewhere that it's possible to create a Jitsi link for a meeting just from Outlook.
So there's no back connection into Jitsi, right? If anything, there's just between the browser and Outlook.
Okay.
This never talks to. Well, okay. Like if you go into the details, it can retrieve a phone number from Jitsi. But one of the main things for Jitsi is that it doesn't require pre-creating meetings. So when you schedule a meeting on Outlook, it doesn't actually need to go and say, hey, make sure that this meeting exists. That's it's not necessary with Jitsi. Now, as I said, the Outlook plugin itself might go and ask us, hey, if I were to have this meeting, what would be the pin code to access it through the phone? But even that connection wouldn't come through an Outlook server. It would come directly from the client. And I don't know whether you want to worry about that in this diagram, because that sounds like way too much detail for an overview diagram. But that's up to you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
One small other remark, additional remark is the Jitsi and the stream file stream. So whatever it's audio or video, it goes to the bridge. So it's not going to procedure, as you have pointed on your diagram.
That's actually a good point. You probably want to distinguish between media connection and signaling connections here. Oh, which you have stream. Wait, Damien, which part were you commenting on?
Jitsi stream call to procedure.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Just like you did for the browser, it's something similar for Jitsi.
Yeah, Jitsi goes with procedure for the signaling, but the media goes to the bridge always.
Does that make sense? You're muted. I don't know if you're talking, Killian, but you're muted.
Yeah, I was talking. Sorry. All right. So there should be an arrow from Jitsi to the video bridge, right?
Yes.
All right. That's very logical. All right. I think that's all for today. Well, thank you very much for feedback, and we will
You
change
guys
it.
have done a good job. You guys have done a
Alright.
good job.
Thank you very much.
How hard was it to gain all of that understanding?
Yeah, it was quite hard. I think yeah, we spent a couple of hours on making diagram, because all these names are like yeah, they're very if you never seen them again, they all look the same, all the names and all the components. So it was really yeah, tough to find out which component belongs to is connected to another component.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's because it was, it was a hard thing to write, so we want it to be hard to understand, so that you appreciate the effort that went into it. I'm joking, obviously. So, but yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you guys persevered through the exercise, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the end result here.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and until in 2 weeks.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Are you guys planning on also adding some explanatory text?
Yes, we've done already. I think we have a couple of paragraph, a couple of pages with the architecture overview and development overview. So yeah, if you're interested, yeah, we can send it over to you, and maybe you can provide us some feedback.
I love to persuade you to put this into the handbook.
Yeah, so very good idea. So we can push it on.
So the thing is that, yes, absolutely. When you put stuff in our handbook, the incentive is that you become very, very famous, and you actually have to be careful, because you may wake up with crowds of people cheering your name the next day. So you have to be aware of what you're getting into.
Well, in that case, I will ask my fellow student to commit out of his name.
There's you shouldn't be avoiding your destiny. Maybe that's what you were meant for.
All right, thanks a lot, and we will definitely push our.
Thank you, Killian.
Our comments. Thanks.
Cheers. All right. So we've had 2 questions so far, and they were both about contributing, which actually puts me in an extremely good mood for the rest of the week. Would anyone like to wrap this up by leveling some criticism with us? Wow, look at that. Well, crowd, it was great meeting you today, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.